Hello everybody, my name is Jasel. I'm a full-time day trader and a day trading coach. And today I want to talk about daily reviews and why I think they are so important. And I'm actually gonna show you my own daily review example because I think having an example in front of you really helps you with your own trading so you can see how you could do it as well. I think that's a good way of doing it. So I have a portal for my students where we can do our pre-market review and I'm gonna show you my own. I usually like to first start with key observations. So my key observations for this day was a stop run of daily or overnight highs. That was my theory that I did in my pre-market prep. And then there was a TPO composite here. As you can see, it's a multiple days put in together. You can see how the TPO would look for, I think that was, I don't know how many days, 5 days, 6 days, something like that. And then you can see where value is. So you can see here these white lines. Let's take the drawing tool. These white lines will show you that, okay, inside of this box we are in value. Outside here we are outside of value. So this would be where the cars are too expensive to be bought and people would be selling cars. And you know, here is where it's too cheap and people would be buying cars. A simple explanation like that. And then we have multiple daily levels. Not only this daily high, we have an overnight high. I know we had some other ones as well here on the left side that you can't see, unfortunately. And we had a stop run, or we could even have a breakout of this level. That was my theory. Either we break out and fill this magnet here above single prints. If you're not familiar with TPO, it's something you can look into on your own time. Or I can make a video about it in the future. But yes, I knew that this was also a possibility. We could break out. Or then we could have a failed breakout. But I knew that this was the line in the sand. This was the important level for this trading session. This level would play out and it would really tell me like where we would go from there. Well, what happened then? Let's go and look at my PNF chart combined with volume imprint. I use this for execution. If someone's interested in how it works, I can make more content about it in a later stage. But let's have a look here. This was the stop run move, as you can see here. And the number which is in green here just shows me that it had positive 136 delta on YM. And what it means is that the net change between market sellers and market buyers was favoring the buyers with 136 delta. And after that, what do we get? We get absorption. And absorption is nothing special in itself. It just tells me that there is a fight, and this is a huge daily level we are talking about, so of course there's gonna be a fight. But we see that the aggressive sellers are coming in. There's more aggressive sellers than there is aggressive buyers. You can see pretty much every rotation is with red delta. But then I get my entry signal, and this is what tells me that, okay, the sellers have the buyers by the balls. As you can see here, we have exhaustion, and this is when the buyers get tired and the sellers take control. So the buyers tried one more time to lift prices. We have positive 31 delta. It looked like on this specific bar that it would be possible to still go, but then we get a down rotation with plus 33 delta, and the next bar that opens is the one that tells me this is where we want to enter into the market. You know, we see negative 93 delta here, and price reacts to the delta that happened there. So it was a beautiful spot for an entry. And this is why I review my trades. I get information, I get all of these patterns, I see them day by day. Not only in the market, but when I review it, I see the pattern again. And the next day I'm executing, I see these things much clearer. It's pattern recognition. You're making it better day by day. That's why review work is so important. And then you start seeing things that work better than others. And you can focus on the good things rather than focusing on the bad things. And this is why review work is so important, because you're also improving your execution, you're improving your strategy. Okay? But here I saw clearly that this was a really good exhaustion. And you can see here on this specific candle, I entered into the market. Let's open the annotate tool here again on the portal. you can see this candle here, I entered with 5 contracts on YM. This white line is where I entered. I always like to put my stop behind a daily high or a daily low. That's usually what I'm looking for. I'm trying to catch that one proper rotation on each trading day. And I put my stop behind this high here, or exactly at the high, and then the move goes in favor. And this is always a good sign. Then I have a white line here. This is where I'm allowed to add into my trade. I always want to push my winners, because if the trade is working from the beginning, it's probably gonna later on as well. But here I did not add. You can see I did not add anywhere in here or in this area. And why is that? Well, I saw an unfinished auction. And again, I need to do my review work so I can see that I'm following my rules and how well I'm executing. And here I'm confirming that I'm following my rule. I'm not allowed to add into my winning position if there is an unfinished auction. And here it is. And these unfinished auctions, we can again talk about them later. I don't have time to do it on this specific video. But these work as micro magnets in the market. So in my mind, adding here is super bad, because we might take this high, and if I add, I need to take my stop down. And where would my stop be? Well, it would probably be here, right? So it's probably get taken out. So it's not a very nice spot for my stop. I would pretty much make a winning trade a losing trade, and I don't want to do that. Also, the second bad thing that I'm doing here, if I would add, is ETH VWAP. We have ETH VWAP here. Why would I add into VWAP? You know, the most likely spot for a rotation back is literally here, where I'm allowed to add. So this combined with this unfinished auction means that there's a high probability of a pullback and a high probability that, yeah, we might take this level out. So I'm not adding, but I'm not exiting the trade, because I still have my statistical edge. I know that the market is probably gonna go into my target of the naked point of control, the previous close, or the overnight singles, right? We have 3 magnets below. So I want to hold into this level anyways, because I know it has a high chance of getting taken out. And that it does. So I get a winner. I don't add into it, because I know that there's a high chance that we could have a pullback and the trade ends up winning anyway. But these things are important. You have to have some type of trade review or daily review that you're doing, because if you have no review work, you're not gonna improve. You're not gonna make your strategies better. You're not gonna improve your pattern recognition the same way. Think about a professional football player. Do you think a professional football player only shows up when it's time to play the match? No, he spends the most time on the practice field. And this is the practice field for a trader, doing the review work, having pre-market preparation, doing after-market preparation, reviewing each trade separately. Very, very, very important. And I know for a fact that the market is the best teacher, and if you're able to do all of this review work, you're gonna improve significantly. Trust me, you are. So it just comes down to your work ethic. Trading is like any other business, and you have to improve your business model, and this is how you do it. Alright, if you have any questions about my daily reviews or anything else about my trading or how I see the markets, let me know in the comments. I'll try to create some long form content in the future. I've only done short form content, maybe you are already familiar with that, but now I'll try to go in deeper and help you guys out with good education, hopefully. Alright, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the comment section. Bye bye.